Well, welcome to another edition of EV Rider. Big treat today. I am getting to drive a Mustang Mach-E GT Performance. I gotta say, I've really been looking forward to this. Sergio, it's his car. He's given me a chance to take it out for a spin. Sergio, start telling me about this Mustang.
Man, so this is the 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E GT Performance Edition. This thing is a ton of fun, and this one has the extended range. It has all-wheel drive and does 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds.
That is just incredible. And, you know, to the viewers out there, I've already had one 0 to 60 run in it, and it for sure put a big smile on my face.
It keeps a smile on mine every time I drive it as well. So I understand.
And, you know, Sergio has actually got two Mach-E's. He's also got a first edition in Grabber Blue. And so you are one of the few people that are uniquely qualified to talk about the differences between the premium and the GTP, not just as a reviewer, but as an owner that's really experienced these cars. So give me an idea what some of the differences are.
So the major difference when it comes to the premium and the GT Performance is the MagneRide. You have an active suspension that adjusts to your driving conditions. When you set your driving mode, this thing responds and makes sure that you are going to have the optimal performance when it comes to your driving experience. Also in this one, you're going to have seats that are tailored for performance, so it's going to keep you in your seat. They're a lot more firm, and it just offers you a nice sport drive that isn't like the premium. Premium is just much more on a comfy level.
And for somebody considering a Mach-E, what would you say they should look at in terms of decision making, a GT Performance versus a premium versus even a Select?
Well, I mean, it's all about, I mean, there's EVs out there, the way I look at it, for everybody, for their lifestyle. So if somebody's looking for something where they're not driving too far and they just want, you know, to get into the EV experience and get something that's user-friendly, a Select can get the job done. You know, those are normally your entry, that's your entry level that has, you know, if you don't put much on there, you're going to get like minimal range. You're just going to have a basic EV, which works for some people. If you're driving less than, you know, 100 and something miles a day, that Select could do the job for you. Premium, if you start getting into the extended range and all-wheel drive, I mean, if the weather conditions call for that kind of stuff, then, you know, you have that option as well. And then the extended range will get you on the premium, I believe it's like about 305 for the range. For
the rear-wheel drive.
Just for the rear-wheel drive, yes. And then all-wheel drives drops you down to 270. So I mean,
and I think for 2022 they gave us a little bit more capacity, so I think it jumps up to 277.
There you go. Yes, I forgot about that. Yes, 2022 it did jump up. So it's all about what works for you guys. One thing that I will say is that on Ford's numbers, when it comes to their EPA, they are very conservative. So if it says 277, you can achieve that and then some. It all depends on how much you want to put your foot down on that pedal and how much fun you're trying to have. But if you drive conservatively, you can get past that number easily.
Well, speaking of putting your foot down, since we are on a very quiet road, I'm going to go ahead and just try out.
Just put that foot down?
Yeah, let's do it, because I know you've got it embridled right now. I can tell from the dashboard. So
yes, sir.
Here we go. Oh, and you even get a little wheel chirp.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love the way it throws you right back. And I'm already going to leave my foot off. I'm not going to talk about speed, but let's just say it is very impressive. And I say this as somebody, by the way, that's owned a couple of muscle cars over the years. I've owned 2 Trans Ams, and one of the things that has me excited about EVs is that even though, for example, I am ordering and about to take delivery on a Mach-E Premium, which is a mid-range, it is going to have a faster 0 to 60 than my last Trans Am, which had the Ram Air Edition. So I believe Ford is quoting 4.8 seconds on the Premium, and going from memory, I think my old Trans Am did maybe mid-5s, maybe 5.2, 5.3. So it just goes to show how far cars have come, and with these, it's no muss, no fuss. It's just boom, just like it. It's so enjoyable. And talk to me a little bit about the handling. You know, I think of a big old SUV, but this doesn't handle like that.
No, this is a 5,000-pound vehicle, and you're talking about, you know, the suspension technology that they put in here, the front and rear sway bars, the MagneRide, the coils, you're talking about a vehicle with the center of gravity that's so low that, I mean, it's underneath the floorboard, so it's like your vehicle is tied into the ground. It's running Pirellis that were engineered for the Mach-E by Ford and Pirelli, so it's like you got the performance, but you got the efficiency of the Pirelli. So when you say you want to go and whatever direction you want to go in, this car is going to take you there.
You know, even sitting in it, certainly it sits up higher than a Mustang coupe. So, I mean, yes, it does feel different than a historical Mustang. But they've even got some of the cues, even looking out over the vista here, the hood. You know, I mean, the last Mustang I got to drive was a convertible about 2 years ago, and it's got that same sweep looking out over it. So they really have done a good job of bringing in those Mustang heritage cues, whether it be the tri-bar, sequential taillights, or even the dash, the flow of the dash, you know, the double cowl like the Mustang coupes and convertibles have.
Oh yes, you definitely, when you look out, you can see all the lines that are on that hood that just, you know, flow into the headlights that, you know, then tie into the bumpers. It definitely has a lot of character, and so it's there. It's all about fun.
Well, and if I remember correctly, you have owned a few Mustangs over the years. So for Mustang aficionados that say, you know what, this is not a Mustang, go ahead and talk to me about your thoughts on a big honking V8 and you know, EV, and how do they compare?
So I mean, I've had everything from a Cobra Terminator to a Roush Stage 2 to GTs to Fox bodies to, I mean, I've had Mustangs, but these by far, and I mean these by two Mach-E's, have been the most impressive because, one, I'm not going to get in trouble because I'm constantly trying to buy some kind of additional bolt-on to make it go faster. No upper intakes, no lower intakes, no pulleys, no all that extras.
Oh, I don't know. I kind of swore you told me about something you're getting ready to do to this one.
But that's suspension, like, you know, just trying to tighten it up.
That's the first step.
You know, but that's it. Like, I can't really upgrade any motor, any transmission, any clutch. I can't do any of that extra stuff. But you're right. You know, you do get to play with them a little bit. But the cool part about it is this thing moves like a rocket ship. Yeah. It has a huge Brembo brakes up front on it. It has, you know, the center of gravity is so low on it. The power distribution is great. So out of all the Mustangs I've driven, this Mustang right here is extremely worthy of having the Mustang name. And it's so much fun to drive. It's a four-door, which gives you the excuse to say it's my family car. Right. But when the family's out the car, you get to go have fun with and just hit the road and do 0 to 60 times.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's definitely. I think Ford has really hit it out of the ballpark. Now you probably got yours before BlueCruise, but have they, you know, done an over-the-air update yet that's put BlueCruise on this?
BlueCruise is active on this vehicle.
Okay, and I know you're also a previous Tesla owner, so you're obviously familiar with autopilot. So give me a comparison between BlueCruise and autopilot.
Absolutely. So BlueCruise on this vehicle, and if anybody has a Tesla, it's equivalent and similar to Autopilot 1. So what this will do is it will maintain your lane that you're in as far as centering it, make sure that the car continues straight down the path. It'll go through any sweeps on the highway as far as curves. It'll go ahead and slow down, speed up, do whatever is necessary for you to be able to, you know, stay on the highway without, you know, having to intervene yourself and jump in. The other cool part about this car is it's truly 100% hands-free. So while you're driving, if you're on the highway and BlueCruise was enabled, you'd be able to let go of the steering wheel. As long as your eyes are tracking forward, you're looking out the front windshield, you don't have to touch anything. You could sit there with your arms crossed and hang out and just let the car do the work. It's that simple.
And my understanding is it's a little bit more like Cadillac Super Cruise as compared to autopilot in that you must be on mapped highways in order for it to engage. And to your point, it also uses eye tracking to make sure that you are still paying attention, which the Tesla doesn't do.
Yes, absolutely. So with the Tesla, like when I had my Tesla, every so often it would nag at me and tell me to touch the steering wheel to make sure I was there paying attention. With this one, yes, you have to actually have your eyes facing forward, and so it is a bigger deal with that. And like I mentioned, hands free 100%.
Well, I don't think there's any question that there's some cross-shopping going on between Tesla and the Mach-E. Now, in your case, the Model X that you had probably isn't going to be cross-shopped nearly as often as the Y and the 3. But regardless, as a Tesla owner and a Mach-E owner, go ahead and give me a comparison. I mean, what are the strengths and weaknesses of both?
So as far as my experience has been is when it comes to customer service, Ford has come through and represented fully. When I talk to their dealerships, when I have gone in for any service questions, when I pop up inquiring about anything, it's been great. With my Tesla, I couldn't do that. If I wanted to call Tesla, I could not call the local center. If I wanted to just pop up, I couldn't just do so. As far as the vehicle goes, this vehicle is a lot much more planted. It's solid. It's connected to the road. It's all the mechanics of all the years of engineering that Ford has done. So this vehicle responds and it feels connected to the road. With my Tesla, there you go with that 0 to 60. But with the Tesla, its technology was there. I mean, it's the technology is second to none. I mean, nobody is beating that technology at this moment. I can say that without a doubt. But their mechanical part is the concerns, their fit and finish, all that stuff, because they're pumping out so many cars and they just need to slow down a bit.
Yeah, the way I understand it, you had a number of problems with your Model X.
I had two Model X's that Tesla ended up having to buy back as lemons because they were just so problematic that it was like, I mean, I literally was taking that thing and scheduling service stops. I'd leave the service center, and be back on the app scheduling another service. So it got to a point where it was just not reliable enough. I mean, it ended up on tow trucks. It was just too much.
Now, for the viewers, go ahead and tell us what year and trim Model X's you had.
I had a 2019 Model X 100D, so the long-range battery
at the time.
Yes, and then when I got that one was bought back as a lemon. I ended up buying another Model X, but I bought a 2020 Performance Model X. So I traded that one. I not traded in, but I gave them that one, and I picked up my 2020 Performance, which was the top of line performance one for the Model X, where you're talking about 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. Came with the 22-inch wheels, carbon fiber interior trim. I mean, fully loaded. Great car, looks great. It just was not. I mean, it was less than 3 months I had to take it in because my window module had went bad and I couldn't roll up my driver's window. So just that kind of stuff was just an annoyance.
So far, this one's been rock solid. Let's talk about the Mach-E some more. I mean, some of the features that you really like. For example, one of the things that I really like is the panoramic roof. Even though it's a bright, sunny day here in St. Mary's, Georgia, right up the road from Jacksonville, Florida, no problem whatsoever. It's, I think they did a wonderful job of that from what I can tell. And I was in a Mach-E in Jacksonville in July on a 95-degree, perfectly sunny day, and it was still fine.
Oh yes.
Talk to me a little bit about some of your favorite features of the Mach-E's.
So similar to like what you mentioned, I like the panoramic roof. It's tinted, and it has the solar glare, so it protects you from the UV rays. You don't feel as much heat coming off of it, and you really get to enjoy the sky. I love looking up. I love to park and just take it all in. Some of the other features that I love is the hands-free driving. I mean, I could just keep my hands to myself and let the car do its thing, and so that's another enjoyable feature. I love the interface where everything is included into this panel. and I could, go from my music to changing the interior lights. I like the fact that I could change the color of the interior lights with a simple, swipe of a button. So doing that, just, not having to change the bulbs or add any kind of additional stuff, like it offers, those little personal touches that you would do in other vehicles, you could just do it in this one, and it's built into it.
Now, any car can be improved. What would you say to Ford? What should they work on next in terms of improving the Mach-E line? What's it need?
So as far as the Mach-E line, their interface, they could add a little bit more as far as entertainment stuff and much more personalization for the vehicle. For the Mach-E GT Performance Edition, they could definitely add some more performance. This thing, after 5 seconds, it starts to level off, and you don't get that full performance that's being delivered. And so, if they can adjust that and have this thing propelled down the track a whole lot faster, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, that's been a common complaint that I've seen from a lot of folks that have owned the Mach-E GT Performance, and I think it's legitimate. I would imagine because this is Ford's first high volume EV that they wanted to be very conservative and not take any chances on damaging the battery. But I think if they're going to attach the Mustang name to it, they've got to get rid of that 5-second rule. They've got to come up with a way to allow folks to really enjoy the performance that it offers. And I don't mean anything unsafe on the streets, but I mean the folks that want to go to places like Gainesville Raceway and track days on a closed course and really have fun experiencing what the car is capable of.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not tracking this thing every single day, but when I do go to the track, I would like to have the opportunity to go ahead and, show these other vehicles that electric vehicles are very capable and that we can, have just as much fun and be on the track with them and not have to worry about, transmissions breaking or, throwing a rod or, none of that stuff. Like, we just go down that track quietly and spank them.
Well, and another thing that's been a hallmark of Mustangs since the beginning is affordable performance. So, for example, a friend of mine has a Plaid, and it's a Tesla Model S Plaid, and it's a wonderful machine. But, of course, it's an expensive machine as well. And what I'd like to see Ford do is take this car and get into that realm, maybe do a Shelby edition and undercut Tesla by $20,000 or $30,000. And I know that there is a Shelby concept out there, although at least based on what I've seen so far, it's more of a suspension and visual tweak situation as opposed to a big bump in performance.
There's actually going to be quite a bit of performance added to that one. So
stay tuned.
Yes, absolutely. So that is not going to be just, the fascias and the louvers. There's quite a bit that's being introduced into that Shelby. So I too am excited about that one. And as soon as it drops, I promise you will see that in my driveway next.
Oh, I will want to check it out for sure. Well, and another thing that'll be interesting to see is whether Ford is willing to allow its EV Mustang to take the acceleration crown from its gasoline Mustang. Right now, the gasoline Shelby is still the top of the heap when it comes to performance. But we know from a technology standpoint, there's no question. This car could, if Ford decides to, beat a Shelby ICE Mustang.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Now, when I say that in terms of straight line. In terms of track, I don't know. That might be a little bit tougher. Although four-wheel drive will certainly help. But given the weight of this, I would assume the coupe would still have the edge in terms of handling.
Yes, I think I agree with you as well. Also with the top end speed and when it comes to battery technology, we can definitely have our runs and have some fun. But when it comes to track time, that Shelby is a beast. I mean, Ford dumped so much innovation and technology into that thing that, they're beautiful cars.
Well, as a guy that loves V8s and loves EVs and obviously loves Mustangs, what are your thoughts on bringing an EV to the traditional coupe and convertible?
I'm all for that. So, I mean, I've asked about it, and I would love to see it. I think that if they took this technology that's in this Mach-E and slapped it into that coupe, you would have a rocket ship. Like, you're talking about something that's smaller. It's going to be agile. You can make that thing just be so much fun. I mean, they have the Cobra Jet 1400 running right now, which is their coupe.
Yeah, the one we saw at SEMA, I think, a couple years back.
Was it a two-door?
Yeah, they did a two-door electric that they showed off at SEMA.
Okay, yes.
And I think they talked about, you know, a crate motor situation for it at one point. I can't honestly say whether it ever happened or not. But
yeah, so that one is, yeah, if they do, that's the one they've had on tracks, and I mean, that thing is, you take off in it, and it's popping wheelies when you take off. So, definitely impressive. And if they came out with the coupe version, yeah, I might trade in this GT Performance right here and get me a coupe. I don't know. The jury's out. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the one I'd be rooting for would be a convertible. I've owned a lot of convertibles in my time, and that is one thing that I wish the EV guys would get into is convertibles. And I know they're coming. I know Porsche has got one coming in the pipeline, and Polestar showed off a concept that they're toying with the idea of doing a convertible. But Ford, it would be awesome if you guys would be first with a Mustang EV convertible. But well, listen, we're going to be pulling right back into Sergio's neighborhood, so we're going to wrap up this edition of EV Rider. But as always, if you've enjoyed it, I hope you'll give this video a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so I can bring you more adventures in EV motoring. And thanks so much for watching. And Sergio, thanks so much for letting me drive this incredible Mach-E GT Performance.
Absolutely. You come on back whenever you're ready.
Oh, I'll be back for sure. All right, guys, we'll see you the next time. Thanks.